YouTube. This is Mike from Awakened Saint. The date is February 20th, 2022. I'm going to repost my research I did on the word logos. And I think it really highlights what's going on with the quantum changes / Mandela effect changes. Something to understand or consider for those that aren't getting their heads wrapped around what's going on. Many believe and remember that our reality has shifted, and there's endless proof of this. Now, when it shifted to its origin. So when you're finding the beginning of something, like scrolls to the Bible, they're going to have the changes that we see now in them, right? We do know what the words mean, though, however. A wolf represents evil. In no prophecy does evil dwell with good. The end doesn't end with Satan living with us, right? We know that Jesus doesn't order us to hurt people. He orders us to turn the other cheek. We're to give kindness and forgiveness. Forgive one another. And something we also should know, and if us Christians that are well read, is 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 20. So if you're coming up with ideas on your own that are way out there, and you're not noticing many people seeing those same ideas, you probably need other Christians to talk to you. None of this is up to private interpretation. So without further ado, I'll post this and I'll play some Mandela effect residue, proof of changes in the background as you listen to it. They're not necessarily lined up with what I'm saying, but it's something to watch as you listen to me drone on about the history of the word logos. And you might be interested to learn, if you didn't already know this, they used logos, the word, and still do, to refer to Jesus Christ, the only word, the living word. He was here before, he was alive before the Bible, and he'll be alive forevermore. Check it out. All right, I haven't done a Mandela effect video in a while, so I figured I would go through the meaning of logo changing by reading the history of logos, followed by what a lot of us Christian believers think is going on with prophecy and the changes. And I would hope that you that don't see it the way I see it will keep an open mind and look into these things, and I will listen to your theories as well, and let's figure this thing out. But I believe prophecy is unfolding, and it's very important to keep an open mind, watch out for yourselves and your families in these times as we further into these changes. So without further ado, I'm going to read about logos and then 2 Thessalonians. So what is logos? The logos meaning and definition. Go through this. Logos is an important term in Western philosophy, psychology, rhetoric, and religion. Religion's my focus. It is a Greek word meaning ground, a plea, an opinion, expectation, word, speech, account, or reason. Word is the focus for our discussion, but it became a technical term in philosophy beginning 535 years before Christ to 475 years before Christ. And they used it in order and knowledge. Ancient Greek philosophers used the term in different ways. The sophists used the term to mean discourse, and Aristotle applied the term to refer to reasoned discourse or an argument in the field of rhetoric. The Stoic philosophers identified the term with the divine animating principle pervading the universe. Under Hellenistic Judaism philosophy, 20 years before Christ to 50 years after Christ ascended, adopted the term into Jewish philosophy. The Gospel of John identifies logos through which all things are made as divine, theos, and further identifies Jesus Christ as the incarnate logos. So think about that. Let that sink in. Although the term logos is widely used in Christian sense, in academic circles it is often referred to various ancient Greek uses or the post-Christian uses with contemporary philosophy Sufism and Analytical Psychology of Carl Jung. Despite the conventional translation as word, I lost my place there we go, it is not used for a word in the grammatical sense. Instead, the term lexis, all right, now listen to what I'm saying here, was used. However, both logos and lexis derive from the same verb logo, meaning to count, tell, say, speak. Right? Professor Jean Forenstock, that's Fahnestock, if you want to look her up, describes logos as a premise. She states that to find the reason behind a rhetor's backing of a certain position or stance, one must acknowledge the different premises that the rhetor applies via his or her chosen diction. She continues by stating that the rhetor's success will come down to certain objects of agreement. Sorry about that. Between the arguer and the audience. Logos is logical appeal, and the term logic is derived from it. It is normally used to describe facts and figures that support the speaker's topic. Furthermore, logos is credited with appealing to the audience's sense of logic, with the definition of logic being concerned with the things as it is known. Furthermore, you can appeal to this sense of logic in two ways. Through inductive logic, which I use a lot on my show, providing the audience with relevant examples and using them to point back to the overall statement. And I use this one too. Through deductive atheism, which providing the audience with general scenarios and then pulling out certain truth. Philo disguised between logos profarios, I'm probably I'm butchering that, but it means the uttered word, and the logos diathatos, the word remaining within. Stoic also spoke of logos spematos, and I am not a good Greek reader. This means generative principle of the universe, which is not important in the biblical tradition, but is relevant to Neoplatonism. Early translators from Greek, such as Jeremy in the 4th century, were frustrated by the inadequacy of any single Latin word to convey logos, expressed in the Gospel of John. Vulgate Bible usage and principio erat verbum was thus constrained to use perhaps inadequate noun verbum for word. But later, Romance language and translations had the advantage of nouns such as les mat in French. Reformation translators took another approach. Martin Luther rejected zewat verb to favor of wort or word, for instance, although later commentators repeatedly turned to a more dynamic use involving the living word that was felt by Jeremy and Augustine, and John himself with logos referring to word. And we do, from us that know the Bible, word is God before God and refers to Jesus Christ. So logos is an important term. And lexis being the antecedent of logos, and all you guys asking Lexis for answers, think about what you're actually doing with that. So let's go to the Bible, King James Version, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 through 12, and I'll give a little commentary on this. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right, so we believe this to be the Antichrist, and once he's revealed, which means we can't question who he is, guys. He's revealed, he's out there, and we know him to be there. These things start to happen. So this is the gray area where we're seeing changes, and he hasn't been revealed yet. So this is why I personally think there's still time to wake people up. But let me read more. Who opposes exalted himself above all, that in called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So the Antichrist calling himself God. That's what that's saying. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? So you've been told these things. And I believe this is Paul writing this. And now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. All power. Think about that, all power. Does Satan have the power to change things? Well, the Bible says all power, so all is all-encompassing. I would say that doesn't limit him. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth. We are to love the truth, guys, right? That they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. So when you're getting the download or the delusion, and you're believing what you're seeing has never been changed, and you're not believing those who see it, God is clouding your mind. Ask for that to be revealed. Ask for him to stop doing that. Ask for the truth. And you that see it, ask for your loved ones to see the truth. Pray for these people. Pray without ceasing. Paul says that. We read on to verse 12. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. So I warn everyone who has pleasure in unrighteousness to turn away from that. And the time to play around with these games and whatnot, it's definitely gone. And I see both things happening out there. So enjoy these few pictures of residue that I've collected, and a little bit of videos here and there, and a surprise at the end. So stay tuned to the end, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Alright, so check this out, right? I don't know what CERN's been up to, but I'm pretty sure they're messing with my timeline. In my timeline, my baloney had a second name, and it wasn't the same as John Mayer's last name. In my timeline, it was the Berenstein Bears. I told my girlfriend, she was like, yeah, I know, who cares? In my timeline, I used to eat a Chick-fil-A all the time, and I'd remember if it was spelled with a K. In my timeline, it was Luke, I am your father, for a fact, and even James Earl Jones remembers that. In my timeline, Febreze was spelled with 2 E's and Vaseline with the O, cause it was spelled like gasoline. In my timeline, there was 4 people in the car when JFK was shot, now there's 6, that's bizarre. In my timeline, it was mirror, mirror on the wall, now it's magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? In my timeline, the lion lays with the lamb, now it's wolf, and apparently always has been. My memory is correct, it's not me, it's in me, it's the Mandela effect. Don't you find it strange, all the changes we claim are exactly the same? This is my discernment, CERN's who we should be concerned with. My memory is correct, it's not me, it's in me, it's the Mandela effect. In my timeline, Morpheus said, what if I told you that everything you knew is a lie? In my timeline, there was most definitely a monocle on the Monopoly guy. In my timeline, it was Looney T-O-O-N-S, now it's T-U-N-E-S, and that don't even make sense. In my timeline, the Scarecrow didn't have a gun, and my question is, where the hell did he get it from? In my timeline, it was Smokey the Bear, now it's Smokey Bear, like duh was never there. In my timeline, Skechers was spelled with a T, and Gene Wilder died before 2016. In my timeline, Darth Vader's nose was black, but now it's silver. What's up with that? In my timeline, witches were burned at the stake, so imagine my surprise to find out they were all hanged. My memory is correct, it's not me, it's in me, it's the Mandela effect. Don't you find it strange, all the changes we claim are exactly the same? This is my discernment, CERN's who we should be concerned with. My memory is correct, it's not me, it's in me, it's the Mandela effect.